Abyssal Chavez, Abyssal Thompson, Abyssal Cholin. Not easy. So I left and went to Dutch Brazil. The Dutch were tolerant and Jews lived well there. Lived well for a while. Now here I am in New Amsterdam. Not too bad, not too good either. A zillion is good. I wish there was a Jewish community here. Right now there's me and Jacob. Yes, not sure about this governor of the Jewish Dynasty. There's a few of one or two of us, but I hear there are 23 coming. We will make it work. This new land has promised.
And meantime, on the ship, the St. Catherine.
Now that it was taken over by Portugal, just like we left Portugal and after that, Spain.
We had quite a wonderful life in Spain. Remember, we were poets, doctors, merchants, and musicians. Remember our Papa La
Remember our Hanukkah celebrations?
that's not enough. So let's make him stop being Jewish. That's it. Convert, or leave, or die. Sounds like a tragedy.
His Majesties.
Christopher Columbus, here, this is for your voyage. Now go forth and find us in the land January 6th. Don't forget to keep everyone on ship strong and healthy. Find us a Jewish doctor.
But I thought you don't like the Jews.
That's right, you don't, but we never we do and do so well. Go on, find us a Jewish doctor.
So let me get this straight. Christians did not like the Jews, but they wanted the Jews doctor. Doesn't make any sense.
You said it. So trying to escape the Inquisition, trying not to convert, we escaped across the border to Portugal. First it looked like everything was good, but then...
I'm King Manuel of Portugal, and I want to marry a beautiful Spanish princess.
I'm muy bonita.
My parents said if I wanted to marry her, I had to kick out all the Jews. So I said, okay, done deal.
And so, many Jews, in order to save their lives, have to become converts.
On the outside, they appear to be Catholic, but in their hearts, in secret, they kept their Judaism alive.
What are we to do?
Fighting their way, they became part of this new land. And this new land had 13 original colonies. It so happens that in each one of these colonies, and it's not by coincidence for sure, there was one Jewish citizen that was a hero. Probably more than one, but one is honored from each colony in Patriots Park. And we so happen to have 13 Jewish Americans here. So they are going to honor the memory of the 13 from the original colonies by telling us a little bit about them.
Aaron Lopez of Rhode Island was known as the Merchant Prince of Newport. He was a most successful merchant and one of the founders of synagogue. He supported the needs of the community and fight for American independence. He was born into a converso family in Portugal, but once he returned to lead an openly Jewish life.
Jacob Mordecai of North Carolina was a patriot and pioneer in the education of women. He opened a school known as Mordecai's Female Academy at the time when women did not get much of an education. The school had both Jewish and non-Jewish students, and everyone was encouraged to observe their holidays and practices. Mordecai believed and taught his students to respect themselves and each other.
Moses Myers of Virginia was the first Jewish settler in Fairfax, Virginia, and he was in public service for the city and the United States government. He also was a cornell in the region of Virginia Volunteers. Early in his adult life, he had money problems. He was offered packing slaves to solve his money problems. He refused.
Chaim Solomon of Pennsylvania played a vital role in financing the American Revolution. He was devoted to the American government. He acted as a spy for America and British, held New York, was arrested, and escaped and fled to Philadelphia. His contributions to the success of the Revolution were acknowledged with a U.S. postage stamp in 1975.
Mordecai Sheftov of Georgia joined the Continental Army and was appointed commissary general. He was in charge of supplying the soldiers with food and clothing and often did so with his own money. He was captured by the British and sent to prison. There he refused to give British information about the American Army and stayed in prison for 2 years. In recognition of his sacrifices for the fight of independence, the state of Georgia granted him several hundred acres of land.
Moses Hayes of Massachusetts was the most prominent 18th century citizen of Boston. He was asked to sign the Declaration of Loyalty to the colonies that included the phrase, "upon the true faith of a Christian." He refused to sign and insisted that his religion should not matter in declaring his loyalty to the American colonies. He persisted and succeeded. He signed the word Christian and the oath was taken out.
Abraham Kahn of New Hampshire received a Congressional Medal of Honor for his heroic actions. When the troops were discouraged and began to disperse, he organized them and established a new line of defense. He told his troops giving up is not an option, we must achieve independence.
Gershom N. Seitzas of New York was the first native-born Jewish clergyman in the United States. He was a cantor and a patriot who fought for the American independence. He served as a trustee of Columbia College, now Columbia University. In 1787, when George Washington became the first president of the United States, he was one of the clergymen who participated in the inauguration ceremonies. Aaron Rostow of New Jersey was born and lived into a family whose history can be traced to the beginnings of Spanish inquisitions. He was the first Jew to settle in New Jersey. He was known for his contributions to Jews and to Jewish and non-Jewish causes in New York and New Jersey.
Lieutenant Colonial Solomon Bush of Pennsylvania and Delaware was the highest-ranking officer in the Continental Army. He fought with distinction even when he had a broken leg and was instrumental in the Army's victory. Jeremiah Myers of Connecticut was a silversmith who designed and created many works that can be seen today in museums. He created many religious objects. Toy bells made by him are still used in synagogues of Newport, New York, and Philadelphia.
Francis Salvador of South Carolina was elected to the South Carolina Revolutionary Congress. He became the first Jew to hold such a high office in the colonies. He fought the Revolutionary War with bravery.
Jacob Hart of Maryland immigrated from Bavaria and was a new merchant in Baltimore at the outbreak of the Revolutionary War. Merchants in the area donated 5,000 pounds to help the army, and of that, Jacob Hart donated the most, 2,000 pounds.
So with much thanks and gratitude to the people that Kita Dalit presented and many, many others, please stand and join us in the Star Spangled Banner.
To work to build a land that's free, to live in dignity.
that still needs to be done is very safe, and we're sure it's going to be done by them. Ms. Spencer?
I don't know where to begin. You are amazing, and that you ended that song, when you put that song, which many of you may recognize from Hamilton. All I could think about was this play and these children belong on Broadway, next to the Richard Rodgers Theater, next to Hamilton, because this was the history of the US, a small slice, and the history of ourselves. And so, all I can say is bravo. I think we should give them a standing ovation. If I could feel it, I would feel it. Amazing. And it always amazes me in so little time how much they are able to do, to accomplish in the little time that we have. And that happens not just because we have such supportive parents in you, a great group of fourth graders, but the teachers that we have, Mora Gila Marash, Mora Chagi, and our musical director, musical teacher, just the joy that you bring out in the children is magnificent. And I wanted to say something about, the educational implications. I was taking notes as I was listening to the children. When we talk about teaching students to think more conceptually, not just about, learning facts, because typically when we think of learning social studies, it's about facts, and a lesson like this is about facts and timeline and, what do kids typically come away with? The facts. But I think that when we want to build those deeper understandings, the conceptual understanding, we want children to experience social studies in ways that will stay with them forever. And I think, and I can speak from my own experiences, even though I went to elementary school a long time ago, when children own it, when they experience it, they are able to make those connections and think about it, not just what this was about, but transfer it to other scenarios, to other people who have experienced hardships. And so I just know that teaching and lifting it off the page in this way, by giving kids experiences through music, through art, through dance, through poetry, are ways that live with them forever. So it's not just the rote recall of information, but living it, expressing it, and you could just see the joy in them. The fifth graders behind me were all singing along. They couldn't control themselves because I know many of them knew it from the last year. So thank you to the boys and girls again. You belong on Broadway. Next to the Richard Rodgers, next to Hamilton. Thank you so much for a wonderful memory. Thank you. And to parents, we want to see you again next week, because you'll know today with my letter that we are going to have, though it's a week prior to Yom HaAliyah, we were able to have a couple of dance teaching artists come next week to work with the children. And there's going to be Israeli dancing performed by every grade is going to learn one dance, a folk dance from Israel. Even the boys are going to get up and dance, and we'll be in there joining with them. So we want to see everybody back next week, and you'll hear more about it today. Thank you.
Thank you. So we heard today that one from the 13 colonies, there was somebody who was the very first cantor in America. But today we're going to hear from a cantor today, Cantor Wachowski.
Good morning, everybody. Shabbat shalom, kids. Beautiful job. Let's give them another round of applause. What a great way to learn about yourself and about our country and about Jews. I don't really have a ton to add. The children really said it all, but I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about our actual personal connections to this. I thought that would be sort of cool. So I wanted to share this with you, and with you guys to add to this play to show how nicely connected we are to it, not just that these are facts that we have. So you heard from the children today that there were 23 Jews, right, who came from Recife, right, who came to New Amsterdam. They ended up here through a whole bunch of mess-ups and things that happened and pirates and going to the wrong place. They thought they were going to Amsterdam, but they ended up taking them to New Amsterdam instead. Like, they should make another movie about it. It's amazing, amazing story. And they founded a shul called Congregation Shareth Israel in the year 1654. 1654, there was a synagogue in the United States, here in New York. But they weren't allowed to worship anywhere except in their own homes, and they had to do it quietly. So they didn't have any space to go, so they would meet in rooms. But then later, under British rule in around 1682, they were allowed to meet together, and they rented a room so that they could get together and have a little shul. They ended up building their first synagogue only in 1729, so like 80 years later. And you know how much they bought the land for? Can you guys guess how much? In New York City, how much did they buy the land for that they built the synagogue on? What do you think? 700, yeah. What else? $2,400. Yeah, not even so much. 100 pounds sterling they paid, 1 loaf of sugar, and 1 pound of tea. That was what they paid for the land that they built the synagogue on, that's still in existence today. That's what they paid for it, that's it. And you should know that not only did those 23 Jews create that synagogue, but from that synagogue came a lot of the major institutions that we're all a part of today. The conservative movement came out of that, and one that's near to my heart, a place where I teach, I help train other cantors, young people to become cantors, at the Jewish Theological Seminary. So almost every educator and teacher comes through the Jewish Theological Seminary, which is founded at Congregation Shareth Israel by their Hazan. At that time, it was Hazan H. Pereira Mendez. He was the minister of CSI, and the first classes of JTS actually met at Shareth Israel. So there's this whole connection that so many Jews and so many Jewish things come out of Shareth Israel. How does that relate to you? Well, first we have some patriots. I think, who spoke about Rabbi Gershom, about Hazan Gershom Mendez Seixas? It was you, Sarah, right? Sarah told us about Gershom Mendez Seixas. So I don't have to tell you again. He was one of the ministers of Shareth Israel, and he was a major patriot. When he became the rabbi of a synagogue, just before the war, the synagogue was already over 100 years old. So how many of us go to synagogues now that aren't even 100 years old? This synagogue was 100 when the revolution happens. And he was the first rabbi, or the first chazan, who was born in the United States. All the rest had come from somewhere else. He was the first non-immigrant to serve a congregation. And the cool thing, like Sarah told us, he ended up taking his congregation to Philadelphia during the war because he didn't want to be under British rule, and he thought that wasn't a great thing. And after the war, he came back. He founded another synagogue there, and when he came back, what happened, Sarah? What was the honor he was given? He represented the third cousin, and he was at the inauguration of... Yeah, and he was at the inauguration of who? President George. Yeah, so he was honored for all that he ended up being invited to represent the Jewish community at the inauguration of George Washington, which is cool. And there's another one. Who spoke about Chaim Solomon? Charlie was you, right? About Chaim Solomon, who was also very influential. So you heard he backed the revolution, and they thought he was a spy, so the British locked him up, but then he got out. And what happens? He also goes to Philadelphia to get away from British rule in New York City. And what does he do? He finances everything. He gives money to the US government, so much that people unofficially call him the broker to, what do they call him? They call him the broker. Unofficially they call him the broker to the Office of Finance of the United States of America. So without him, there's no United States, because he pays for it. And like you said, what did the US do to honor him? They made a US postal stamp, and that's what they did in 1975. So he never got any of the money back that he put into the country, but in 1975, a couple hundred years later, they made a postage stamp about him. So this is cool. So we learned a little bit about the 23 Jews from Recife, but what's our connection to this? Let's talk about this. I want to tell you that each and every one of you sitting up here, in fact, probably each and every one of us here, has a direct connection to those 23 Jews from Recife that we learned about this morning. I have a question for you. What's the name of your school? Well, come on, what? Let me hear you. Nice and loud. Schechter School, right? Who's it named for? Solomon Schechter. Exactly. Solomon Schechter was the rabbi and educator who became the president of the Jewish Theological Seminary that was founded in Congregation Sharet, Israel, that was founded by the 23 Jews from Recife, and his name is on this school building. So if you're involved in a Solomon Schechter school, you're directly educated from the path that leads from those 23 Jews from Recife up to this moment. So, and as well, he also, while he was there, he founded the conservative movement. So if you go to a conservative synagogue also, or involved in that, you're a part of this, of this connection. And the second connection you have is very, very personal. You know how personal it is? It's something that's alive, and that's in this room right now. Can you guess what it is? It's me. It's my wife, Heather, and more importantly, our son, Samuel Warshawski. How, you say? So let me tell you a little quick story to close here. When my wonderful wife, Heather, and I, Heather's the 4th grade class parent who helped set up a lot of the food and get everything ready, so let's have props for Heather. Yeah. When Heather and I met, when we were dating, we began attending services at that synagogue in Congregation Sharet, Israel, that's still in existence today on Central Park West and 70th approximately. And eventually, Heather and I were married in that synagogue. We were actually married near some of the same pieces of furniture that adored the first small synagogue that was built in 1729 that is moved to that building. So we were married in the same room with the same shulchan that had been there since 1729. So we're fairly strongly connected to that. And then a little more than a year later, a little man named Samuel Warshawski was born, and you'll never guess the day he was born, or maybe it was the second day after he was born, I don't remember. He was born in New York City. A man by the name of the minister, Rabbi Dr. Soloveitchik, the minister of the Congregation Sharet Israel, came to the hospital to visit his newest congregant. So this current rabbi, Chazan Soloveitchik, holds the same position as Chazan, who had Chazan? Sarah. As, who was it, Gershon Mendesatius? Holds the same job as Gershon Mendesatius. Still to this day, to our American patriot Chazan, holds the same job. And about 8 days later, Sam's Brit Milah happened at Congregation Sharet Israel, the same congregation that was founded almost 400 years ago by those 23 Jews that we heard about so beautifully from our 4th grade class here today, who helped begin the Jewish community in America. And they came from Recife, they founded this synagogue, to all the way to today having people in this room. And these are just 2 connections. I'm sure you all have many more connections to those Jews and to your Jewishness in the United States. So what I want to say is I want to add to what you said, this is not just stuff that happened in the past, right? These are not just dates and names to memorize. It's alive in each and every one of you. It's alive in each and every one of us. We are the people who come from this. You children, each and every one of you, are educationally and personally connected to this, to America, to Judaism, and to the American Revolution. You are the Jewish American history. All of you are, because you're involved with Solomon Schechter Day School, and because you know Jewish kids like Samuel Warshawski. So I want to say mazel tov again to the 4th grade on a fantastic presentation. This was wonderful. Thank you so much, Sandy, for having me. We enjoyed it so much, and we're proud of each and every one of you. Well, God bless America, and Shabbat Shalom.
Wow, toda rabah. I'm not sure if it's on your Mora Romano is right. This is going to be part of the 5th grade journey. So you see, when you are there, you'll see exactly the place that Captain Warshawski was talking about. Thank you all so much. Please.
Really quickly, so much work went into today, and we really, on behalf of the 4th grade families and the 4th grade students, we'd like to officially thank Mrs. Stern for all of your incredible work, Mora Hagit and Mrs. Marash. Thank you so very much.
We are going to dismiss, unless you have a sibling here. Kita Hey, I know you are planning to cook something delicious, and I'm getting ready to eat something delicious. So, Kita Hey, Lehitraot, thank you for coming. Guests, please stay with us. Following Kita Hey, Kita Gimel. And following Kita Gimel, Kita Bet, and we're going to sing them out, okay?